Namaste, namaste, beautiful family of light. Happy New Year in the Gregorian calendar. So there are many other calendars. So we want to be specific to say this is the Gregorian calendar, I believe started by Pope Gregory. So I want to talk a little bit on this brand new 2024 first day, which many people are aligned to and connected to and have celebrated and, is in that guideline of a new start, that this would be an appropriate time to really, really emphasize us to tap into our higher guidance because there is a higher guidance. And now more than ever, our time to develop it. And by the way, I wanted to say that um, I'd mentioned to some of the people who are on Zoom right now, just before we came on live to Facebook, uh, that there is a higher guidance that and how the anchoring light kind of came around and how we knew to get our technology together in advance of things, so that when, the so-called chaos came in, we were able to ride that wave, be able to move forward with our mission and our purpose of anchoring light to the planet, without disruption. And the only way that happened was tapping into the higher guidance. And so we definitely want to do that, particularly as we move into the year 2024, most certainly the year 2025, and the years coming afterwards. I feel 2024 is a very important year that's going to pivot into a crucial year, in my opinion, of 2025. Okay, from 2025 forward, my feeling is that um, things are rapidly going to be changing. And in this rapid change, what we want to do because of technology and artificial intelligence, with the key word being artificial, okay, it most certainly has its place. It does. But also, too, in our world, in this particular creation, you already know it's a world of duality. We already know that. Just look at the world. It's like self-evident that things tend to be dual. Ideally, we would be where we were tapped into this higher frequency on a regular basis that would create like a triangle, right? Keeping these two polarities in balance. And that's not the case. So whether you call it the firmament or the fall or whatever the case is, who knows what the story is, but this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to connect to this level that would bring this perfect trinity, if you will, that would bring the balance, the perfect balance, back. And with that would a whole bunch of wonderful things would happen. You could pretty much say that's the foundation of the divine feminine and the divine masculine as the platform. And then everything is built on that into this unity consciousness or this oneness, So that's really what our goal is to bring into the oneness. I most certainly see that there is uh, of course, our planet has tremendous diversity. Not all planets are like ours. Our own bodies have such diversity of DNA in it. So we are definitely very, very high up in the diversity frequency of, codes and DNA and potentials and possibilities and all of that. Not all life has that level of diversity accessible to them, which is why I also think that we are a prize for some other intelligences that may not have the duplicity of diversity like we do. And our planet, our beautiful planet, I've been told it's like a living library of so much diversity. That's the key thing. Now, the challenge is, to bring that diversity into oneness, that in the largest scheme of things, everything is interconnected. Even the most polarizing of things can be interconnected or are interconnected, and somehow bringing that balance once again, to bring everything into this harmonic, okay, which was always the intention of all life, is to bring forth, whether it's in an evolutionary process, whether it's instant, but the idea is to bring harmony on all levels, okay, from the macrocosm, um, to the macro to the microcosm. So when we become aware of this, of course, we also have our part to play, as we are units of individual units of light, expressed as divine, creations of the eternal creator. And that eternal creator, we have come in our own unfolding consciousness, is that of love, unconditional love and light, the Ein Sof, or the highest light. So, as much as we can say, from the Emerald Tablets of Thoth to the Hermetic principles to many, many, many other deep philosophical and occult knowledge, occult simply meaning hidden knowledge, is that, the source emanates this love and this unconditional life. But in the Kali, as it bursts forth, the further we get away from it, then is when, I guess, distortions or imbalances or however that comes about. I don't claim to know it all, but definitely some dynamic took place where we are now trying to get back into that oneness, into bringing the polarities into balance, to move into this ascension point where we're not a seesaw back and forth between extreme dualities, and the thought of somehow we are separate. So not only are we not separate from the higher multiverse of everything, we most certainly are not separate in our own humanity. We're not. But the great um, you know, delusion. I think the word is better than is delusion as opposed to illusion. The delusion is that we are somehow separate. So I believe that humans are coming into their own sovereignty. We as humans, as divine co-creators, as divine creations that hold the similitude and the image of the source, okay, come into our own awakening consciousness to say, hey, we are sovereign beings. And, I'm feeling like maybe there are other dynamics involved that are not working in this highest alignment of my humanity on this planet, that perhaps there's other layers of things. And as the axiom says, as above, so below as above. Well, so below you can see that there's hidden agendas, and there's all kind of covert activities, and and then you're also dealing with humans and their emotions, and so we become aware that there's some other stuff that's going on. Maybe you want to say the shadow side, or what I always call it, the counterforce, to the light and love. And you start to figure things out and saying, I'm wondering if I'm part of a much higher level of awareness and consciousness where there's a whole dynamic being played on other levels. And somehow I'm connected to that, even though I'm here in this physical, mental, and emotional body. There's some other part of me that has a higher, larger understanding. And then we start to like, so I think there's a higher part of myself that has we experience it in different ways, whether that's an intuition or spark or however it comes to you, that there's a higher part of yourself. And the unfoldment goes from there. And so when you become aware, okay, you can't go by what other people, are saying you're supposed to be doing this, so this is how it has to be this way, or you need to. I mean, you, of course, are open to hear everything, but then at the end of the day, it's you that make the best decision for yourself moving forward with the choices that you make. And that's what I want to talk about because as we move into 2024 and beyond, it is really going to require all of us to use our higher discernment. It really is. And it's like a whole new ball game. If you think like you have to be discerning here, you have to be discerning on many higher levels too. On many higher levels too. And as my mom used to say, all that glitters is not gold. And that's why we just can't go by our mental only or just by our, the limited physical senses that we have to operate on in this physical three-dimensional reality we find this aspect of ourselves in. It's really going to require, if not force us, that we have to now tap into these higher parts of ourselves and start trusting what comes in. I have written some blogs, and you will find them. And I do a lot on this topic because I know how important it is. So if you go to the Cosmic Center website, you'll start to see some blogs that I'm doing, which is Bob Baba Sharon, which is my spiritual name. You'll also see the blogs on Facebook. So you can't even get to the Cosmic Center Spiritual Light um, on the website, you can access it on Facebook. I make sure to publish everything that I'm writing on there. And it gives like the higher insights because and that you're going to have to trust it. And like a spiritual muscle, just like a physical muscle, you're going to have to utilize it to get it stronger. And I'm going to recommend to everybody now to really start to do that. So, like for example, you start off simple. If something just crosses your mind, an idea or thought or a person, you pause just for a minute, say, I acknowledge this just came into my head. I'm just thinking about it. And then you say, what should I do about it? I think this might be a message to make a telephone call or to do some sort of action, or just say I'm looking or send a prayer that way, whatever it may be. But what you're starting to do is to recognize and strengthen the connection to the higher self or the oversoul. And then when you do that, just a whole array, they may come in very slowly in the beginning. Sometimes they come in all at once, but you have a whole new reality. You become aware of a whole new reality that you're working on other things. So I remember I have spoken to some very talented, extremely talented mediums and where they have that's their focus is on that, that's what they do. And one of the things I remember one of them told me, she said, really where I do most of my work is not even on this physical level, is on other reality bites, where souls exist, like our own soul, or aspect of our soul, and doing work there too. So we are being moved to expand our consciousness into other or higher understandings that this is one reality of many other realities, that we come here to serve in many capacities. So it's we're here to serve the source, which is love and light. We are, the firstborns, if you want to say, or the children of light, okay, who have come here to help and assist this planet, but we're probably helping on many other levels too. You may have people say, I saw you in my dream. You're showing up in my dream. I have many people that say I'm in their dreams. I mean, on a regular basis. So we're doing other things, even if we don't realize it in a conscious state. At some point, we can be like, oh, I'm able to bring back my activities. Now, I know many people who can do that. Not everybody can. That's one of their specialties. They're able to travel, consciously out and bring back the memory of that in the waking physical state in this 3D reality. Most of us are not able to do that, or we get glimpses. We have little glimpses and patches of it that we're able to do. But the more that we, and this is what's key, to say, you know what? And you first make the statement, I am now want to move into the higher levels of myself. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. And as such, to be able now to put that into action, even as you walk a physical, mental, and emotional world. That's what the ascended masters are able to do. That they could walk on the Baba G is still around, for goodness sake, over there in the East. Okay, I don't know how many hundreds of years old he is, but he has manifested still into the physical form for those people, that are connected to him and for him to assist. There's many, many things as we move in consciousness that would even be able to impact more on this physical reality as well, as you could hold more light, more awareness, more consciousness. But with that comes the discernment. That's the bottom line, is the divine discernment to be able to know what's real and what isn't, what's moving positively or what's not, because we become aware that there's another agenda on the planet, not limited to this physical reality. It's another reality. Okay, and that's where a lot of us are also working in this higher expanded, reality bite that impacts our life here in this physical world, and to hold the light on many levels, many, many levels. So we're holding light here, but we are also holding light. And with that, as we hold light, may attract those things that don't want you to hold the light. But then you have to know, okay, who, when, what you're part of. You are part of the light, the Christ consciousness, the divine Maitreya, the angelic realm, Archangel Michael. There's so many. You could just call them the Amishadai, which is Hebrew for the family of light. Most certainly, the Christ consciousness, the divine Maitreya. Okay, that is very powerful. I called on Archangel Michael not that long ago with a situation I found myself in. Poof, like that. So there is no fear. None, none, none. When you know the truth, when you know the truth, there is no fear. So we're being called to expand our light. But before we do, we have to go ahead and polish up on our discernment. Trust, whatever that knot in your stomach or that sense of like, I'm not feeling good. Trust that. Or an inspiration that comes, I think you should do this. Follow through on it, even if you're really busy. Jot it down or make a mental note. I make a mental note. Remember that happened. Follow through on it, and just those simple things. Nothing hard, just simple things. Just being more conscious, more aware of things that you experience in the day. That's all you need to do. And then as you start to hear like negative thoughts within yourself, I remember years ago, I just came from a place that's just very limited, very part of my programming. And I had to say every time that thought came in, that somehow was limited or not smart enough or good enough or all the plethora of stuff that tries to keep you down in your vibration, I had to keep on saying to myself, no limitations, no limitations, no. So whatever it is that you do to expand your consciousness, start to anchor in your higher discernment. Okay, trust what it is that's coming to you. That's how we're going to get through the years and decades to come. That's how we're going to stay in our alignment with our higher self. And with that becomes stronger your divine protection and your divine guidance. Namaste to our family of light on Facebook Live. If you ever want to join us, just know that all you have to do is just find Facebook, the Anchoring Light Transmission Meditation on Facebook Live and register. And once you register, you're in. Okay, with that, Happy New Year. God bless everybody. We will see you next time.